Welkom terug. Nou, ons gesels met die wêreldbekende spreker en menslike kenner, Dr. John Demartini. Ons gesels 'n bietjie oor verandering vanoggend. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to start with a statement that you made. You say, I love showing people how to be resourceful in their perceptions and actions. What does that mean to you?
Well, in psychology, famous psychologist, modern psychologist, William James said, the greatest discovery of our generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their perceptions and attitudes of mind. There's no doubt that we get challenged in life, but it's what we make of it, how we decide to perceive it, what our expectations are, and how we decide to use it as a fuel and an opportunity. So I'm a firm believer that no matter what happens to you, you can find a way of using it to your greatest advantage.
Dr. Demartini, I just want to find out, you said that perceptions, the way you use your perception, interpret your perception, and apply them, can change the way you experience life, has positive outcomes. Is that the old wives' tale of just try and see the positive angle, or is that a practical reference?
If you have a challenging perception about an event and you see all the downsides, then finding the upsides is to your advantage to bring it back into balance.
Yeah.
But if you're enamored, infatuated with somebody and you're blinded by an infatuation, you can be run away with that infatuation, and you need some healthy skepticism there. You need to bring it back down. So you need a balanced perspective more so than a one-sided perspective. Anything that, anybody trying to go to bed at night that has a perception of something they're really enamored with or something they're really despicable to them, that will occupy space and time in their mind and have intrusive thoughts and run them, and it won't make them, they'll have insomnia trying to sleep. So bringing them back into balance and asking quality questions allow you to see the side that you're missing, allows you to liberate yourself from the emotional bondage that each of those polarities bring.
Why is change so difficult for humans?
When we hold on to something, if we're infatuated with somebody, we fear their loss. If we're resentful to somebody, we fear their gain. If we're more neutral and see both sides of somebody, we're able to be adaptable and resilient. A balanced mind is more resilient and adaptable than one that is highly polarized. When you first meet somebody and you're infatuated with them, you fear their loss. But as you get to know them and actually love them and see both sides, you ask anybody who's been married for a long period of time, they can rattle off both sides and see both sides of the things they like and dislike. They're more adaptable. But somebody that's highly infatuated or highly resentful is basically stuck in these polarities, and this makes it difficult for them to adapt, and they're going to live in higher stress because of it.
The people that are more fearful of change, then obviously it seems to me, are also struggling to change the way they see themselves, because surely, I mean, you have to change the fact that you can see what you're doing and the way you're reacting and analyze yourself correctly and adjust. And that takes another level of change as well, doesn't it?
Well, we have the capacity to have self-reflection. The animals can see the world around them, but we can see our own reflection of the world around us. And if we put people on pedestals, we'll minimize ourselves. And that's not our authentic self. If we put people in pits, we'll exaggerate ourselves, and that's not our authentic self. When we put people in our hearts, we end up getting to love and be ourselves. And that's where we're most adaptable. So really everything that's going on in our life is giving us a feedback to learn how to be more authentic, have more love, have more sustainable, fair exchange in our dynamics with people.
The other thing you speak about is this 80-20% rule that holds that 20% of your actions are responsible for 80% of your productive results. Tell us more about that.
Well, there was an economist, Belvita Pareto, who actually coined that, and Joseph Duran is the one that put that on the market, the idea of that 80-20. And I've just been utilizing that by observation in my own life and with my clients, that if we really prioritize our life and fill our day with the highest priority actions that really inspire us, that really are productive and meaningful, our day doesn't fill up with low priority distractions that don't. There's a principle called entropy in the world, and automatically things go from order to disorder if we don't constantly prioritize and bring things to order. So it's our advantage to take the time to prioritize our life and to stick to the things that are most productive. I learned many years ago, 41 years ago, lecturing and presenting in Dallas, Texas, I met Mary Kay from Mary Kay Ash from Mary Kay Cosmetics. She said, if you fill your day with the highest priority actions and make incremental momentum towards something that's really deeply meaningful and that you achieve, you will end up attracting more opportunities. But if you sit there and allow the world on the outside to dictate what's really designed to be driven from the inside, then you'll end up having this breakdown and entropy, and you burden your life. And I think the symptoms we create from that are just feedback to guide us back to authenticity, back to priority, and back to the 20% that give us the 80% results.
You say make decisions, have priorities, and then act on them. But some people feel stuck. People obviously are negative and depressed and that kind of thing. What are the main obstacles that people have to work through to actually start acting on those priorities?
We have, each individual has a set of priorities in life, a set of values that's the things that are most to least important in their life. Whenever they're doing the highest priority action, they activate the medial prefrontal cortex where they do spontaneous actions. They act without having to emotionalize about it. When they stick to the highest priority actions, they spontaneously act with the least amount of phobia, least amount of anxiety, and the least amount of distraction from other people's opinion. But the second they are trying to live by lower priorities, and they compare themselves to others and put people on pedestals, inject the values of others, and then they second guess themselves and they cloud the clarity of what they feel called to do, inspired to do. That's when they hesitate, procrastinate. And that's a feedback to let them know that they're not here to be second at being somebody else. They're here to be first at being them. And the authenticity that they're pursuing is being distracted. So the magnificence of who you truly are is far greater than all the fantasies you impose on yourself trying to compare yourself to other people.
Wow.
You have worked with the Department of Education, you've worked with police departments, you work with people that's gone through natural disasters, spoken across the world. What inspires you to keep sharing your methodology and trying to help people and change people and help people to adjust and adapt to change?
I nearly died when I was 17 years old, and I happened to be led to a little class where a gentleman spoke who was really old at the time. I'm getting closer to that age now, 71. But he inspired me one night to believe that I could someday become intelligent. I could overcome my learning problems, learn how to speak properly because I had a speech impediment. And I had a dream to travel the world and to do what this gentleman had done and try to make a difference in people's lives. So that's pretty well what I've been doing for the last almost 3 years. I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing. And, I tried my best to learn every single day and try to glean some sort of insight that might be of assistance to other people. And I don't think there's anything more magnificent and more fulfilling than be able to make some sort of contribution and somebody say thank you, making a difference, doing what you love doing. So I try to teach people to do the same for their lives.
Wow, that's incredible. Dr. John Demartini, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing some of your wisdom. And may you continue to change people's lives across the globe.
Well, thank you for this opportunity to be with you today, and thanks for your lovely questions.
Sien daai het jy dit al wat jy dit kort is net om baie keer jou fokus te verskuif en te weet jy kan anders na dinge ook kyk, selfs al is dit verandering wat soms moeilik is. Bly net waar jy is, net hierna is ons ook in die kombuis.